Hello, welcome, come on in. We're looking at basic tutoring strategies for readers with severe reading disabilities, sometimes known as dyslexia. I'm not going to go into that, but dyslexia and severe reading disabilities are essentially the same thing, an inability to learn to read the cause of which is of unknown origin, has something to do with the ability to process, phonological process, but I'm not going to get into that because we're looking at strategies, specific. We talked about motivation in number 4. We're looking at writing and fluency. Here's some specific strategies that you can use starting day 1. The language experience approach. This is where you have an experience. Students dictate to you what they want to say. And if it's 1, it's easy. Tell me about what you did yesterday. You write anywhere from 2 to 5 sentences. So you are recording what they say. This is a good chance to talk about grammar and punctuation as you are writing. If they say something that's not grammatically correct, you change it and say why. Very implicit but authentic approach to grammar instruction. All right? You use this, what they have written, and if it's 1 student, you can write it on your computer. If you have a PowerPoint or something where you can smartboard, you can project it on the whole class, or you can simply use the old-fashioned piece of paper, butcher paper, chart, writing it out. But this becomes what they use to practice reading. You go along using choral reading or echo reading or scaffolded reading. The nice thing about the language experience approach is that all the vocabulary words and the experiences, what they're writing about, the concepts, are within students' own experience. Words they know about, they're reading about things they know about using words which they know. Choral reading is where you read it together, bump, 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 and you use your finger and follow along each word. Echo reading is where you read a line, they read it back to you, the next line, they read it back, etc., etc. Remember, this is reading practice. It's to develop the ability to recognize words and process phonological text, and at the same time, they are attending to semantics, meaning within the context, and syntax, learning about grammar. And it takes the stress off of short-term memory. Scaffolded oral reading, which we will talk about a little bit later. So students generally practice a piece of writing, something they have written, until they can read it fluently. All right? You go over it 2 to 4 times. However, you don't want to frustrate your students. That's why I say sometimes you have to start with 2 sentences, 3 or 4. Fluency, to develop fluency. There are a lot of simple fluency activities. Look in chapter 5 of my textbook. If you want to go to a YouTube talking specifically about that, go to that's my name and do a search word on fluency. And I talk about a number of different one-on-one tutorial activities and some small group and whole class activities to develop reading fluency. All right. The basics of doing some writing and some tutoring strategies. Number 6, we'll look at word work.